In this material, we will talk about data types used in Python. The most popular data types are string, integer, and floating point number. So let's start with the string maybe. Python string is a collection of various characters that you can find on your keyboard that we then enclose in either single or double quotes. And those characters can include letters, numbers, and special characters like question mark. Spacebar is also considered a character and can be used as a part of Python string. As long as they are all inside single or double quotes, Python will consider that as a data type string. And now you can see displayed some examples of string data type. And note that they are all in either single or double quotes. So let's talk about the integer now. And integer is simply a whole number. It can be a positive number, like 10, it can be a negative number, like minus 200, and 0 is also considered an integer. As long as it's a whole number and it's not in a single or double quote, it will be considered by Python as integer data type. Then we have floating point number. And floating point numbers are simply fractional numbers, like 2.5 or, 8.44, something like that. And they are also not inside any quotes. We just write them as they are. Okay, but let's play with those data types directly in Python, because, seeing just the theory does not explain it well enough. We have to see it in action. So this is my Ubuntu server. Let me open the terminal and let me type Python 3. This opens our interactive shell, and if you don't have Python installed on your machine, please see the previous video where we were installing Python, and the link should be displayed right now. So I've got my interactive shell, and I can print. This is the function that we can use in Python to process the data within those brackets. So if I just type hello world, there is not much to process, it simply displays back hello world. However, there is another function I wanted to show you, and it's called type. That type, we just replace print with type. This is a function in Python that shows us what data type it is for Python. So if I click enter, you can see str, which really means string simply. So string are all those characters here inside the quotes, and note we included the space as well. When I click spacebar, it's still considered a special character. It can be part of the string. If I try to check how Python sees, for example, whatever, this, some numbers, and then some special characters as well, if I click enter, it's still a string. So even if I put the numbers or special characters, as long as they are within either single or double quotes, it will be still a string. Let's try now some numbers. Type maybe 10. Now, Python considers that as an integer. We have only int, but that means really an integer. Now if I try the same with, let's say, minus 200, that's still an integer. And if I try 0, Python still considers that this data type inside, it still considers it an integer. So let's jump to floating point number. If I type 2.5, now we have float. The full name for that data type in Python is floating point number. And anything that has that dot notation is really a floating point number. Because if I type 2.0, note that it's still a floating point number. But if I type just 2, now we've got the integer. So it's not really about the value that is stored there, it's about the notation. If we've got that dot notation, it will become a float. If there is no dot, it's considered an integer data type. But now let's go a little bit further. What if I type, maybe print first to see the output, 5 times hello world? What will happen? What do you think? Let's click enter. So Python simply displayed that string because we've got those quotation marks, yes? It displayed that string 5 times. But what if we now check what data type it is? If we use type function, what do you think we will get? Let's click enter, and it shows us it considers it a string, which makes sense because it's a very long output, including some spaces, but it makes sense, doesn't it? It looks like a string, it's simply now much longer string. It multiplied string 5 times, so the output is still considered a string. What if I do now type 5.0? I'm trying to multiply 5 times hello world, but now I will use floating point number rather than integer. Let's click enter. We've got type error. The Python tells us I can't multiply sequence. Sequence, it means really that string. I can't multiply it by something that is not integer. You can't multiply it using that dot notation. And that's really important to understand, because there are some operations that are allowed in Python, and there are some operations that are not allowed. Because consider a situation where I'm trying to do, let's say, I don't know, 5.77 multiplied by hello world. That would also make no sense. I mean, this notation actually makes sense, but Python simply refuses that operation because it can see the floating point number, and it only allows for that whole operation as long as this part is integer and not floating point number. So there are some limitations that we have to understand within Python. And somebody might think, okay, but for example, this is allowed. Print minus 200 is integer, isn't it? So I should be able to multiply using this operation. If I click enter, well, there is nothing displayed because it's negative number. But if I check type of that output, Python doesn't moan. It says, yeah, it's string, even though it's nothing there, but this will be allowed. Same with 0. Still fine. Let's check a few more examples. Let's do print 2 by 2, maybe with spaces here, easier to read. We've got 4. Let's print 2 multiplied by 2.0. So we've got integer and we've got floating point number. If I click enter, now we've got 4.0. Why is that? Because result of this, if we multiply one integer by another integer, the result is still an integer. If we multiply integer by floating point number, the result will be floating point number. And we know how to check that. We can just use that type function. So if we do type 2 by 2, we can see it's integer. If we do type 2 by 2.0, we can see the result of that operation is considered by Python as a floating point number. What if I do print 2 by this? What do you think? Now this became a string, because dot is also a special character that can be a part of the string. What Python will do now? Let's see. Click enter. You can see it's called string concatenation. It simply displayed this string twice, 2.0, 2.0. It didn't do mathematical operation, it simply displayed this string twice. And what will be the data type as a result of this operation? As you might have guessed, in this example, it is actually a string, because this string is similar to this one we had with hello world. We did exactly the same operation here, only this one made a little bit more sense. But once we start doing this, it might be not clear at the first sight. But that is not a number anymore. This now is just a string, so a sequence of characters. So yes, that's really all I wanted to say today. I just would suggest to play with those data types for a while, because the better we understand what is allowed and what is not allowed in Python, then the more efficient we will become in the future when dealing with errors in our programs. So hope that makes sense, and I will see you soon.